Hey, truth seekers, welcome back. The media has given us a gematria gem yesterday, April 24th, 2017. It's a story about the female astronaut Peggy Whitson, who set a new American space record. On April 24th, she supposedly logged her 535th straight day in space. The mission is planned to be 666 straight days of being in space for Peggy Whitson. 666, number of the beast from the Bible. What I'm going to teach you in this video is why the mission is 666 days really, and why Peggy Whitson was chosen for it. 666, the number of a man. So if you skim through the article, they emphasize that the record setter was the 535th day. The previous record was 534. They mentioned that she's currently 57 years old and she's logged 57 hours in space, plus 22 minutes. We'll talk about that. And then down at the end, they mentioned that the mission will conclude in September on the 666th day. And we're going to talk about just what day that is. So let's get to it, Truth Seeker. The woman's name is Peggy. We'll talk about the full name, Peggy Whitson, but let's just start with Peggy, which has gematria of 33. The mission began November 7th, 2015, which was a date with 33 numerology. And what we're going to get to is what 33 has to do with 666. But just for starters, in numerology, 33, 3 plus 3 is 6. So the mission began on a date with 33 numerology. It was Peggy's mission. This number 535 days, remember the word religion equals 53, the word Catholic 35, NASA 35. In history, as we're taught, Christopher Columbus was paid for by the Catholic Church. He discovered the Americas where the Indian people already lived. Nonsensical story. Anyhow, our whole history involves the Catholic Church. The Catholic Church paid for Christopher Columbus. We learn about science and the battle between, scientists and religion, namely the Catholic Church. So the overlap is government, religion, control. Remember, at the beginning of the U.S. history, where Washington, D.C. is, it was once the Catholic colony. We've only had one Catholic president. That was number 35, JFK. Catholic, 35. Religion, 53. Emphasis at 535 straight days. So, April 24th, the day she made history, is the 114th day of the year, and both the words history and astronaut have gematria of 114. What are the odds an astronaut makes history by the numbers on the 114th day of the year? As for the 57 hours at age 57, if you've never seen my work on the moon landing, very quickly, let's review. The moon landing happened July 20th, 1969. That's in the astrological time of Cancer. In gematria, space equals 44. So does Cancer. So does the name Armstrong, the first man to set foot on the moon in the time of Cancer, which is ruled by the moon in astrology. Cancer is ruled by the moon. Cancer's astrological symbol is also 69, 1969 moon landing. So anyway, notice that Scottish Rite has gematria 57, like moon, like conspiracy. The name Scottish Rite also sums to 165, like the full name Neil Armstrong. Neil Armstrong, the moonwalker, by the numbers. Also a Scottish Rite Freemason. And as Freemasonry will proudly tell you, nearly every person to ever travel to space, a Freemason. So now that number 666, what it's all about. The official name for NASA is National Aeronautics and Space Administration. NASA, that's what it stands for. And notice the gematria, 666. NASA's having this woman spend 666 days in space, supposedly prepping for a future mission to Mars. Science tells us that the Earth's tilt is 23.4 degrees off center with a right angle that leaves 66.6 open degrees. So think about NASA, the study of space, understanding of the world we live in, and then this relationship between the tilt of the Earth and the actual name for NASA. Is it coincidental? Obviously not. Again, all of this stuff goes back to the Bible where the number 666 is taught about. In Gematria, again, Peggy is 33. Bible's also 33. There's a lot of 33 in the Bible. Overwhelming. If you write out 33, it sums to 156. Just like if you write out 666, it sums to 156. Also, like if you write out Peggy Whitson, who's doing the mission for 666 days. What a perfect fit. In the Bible, 666 is the number of a man. The number of a man equals 156. The beginning and end happens to equal 156. We're going to talk about how that phrase fits in. Notice that the first letter A has gematria of 156. The letter Z also has gematria of 156. And the man who just taught that to me, the man who learned from my work and is now using his own mind to make greater discoveries, the next video I upload will be his, and it'll be another video about 666, which he put out not even knowing about this news story right here. But remember, it's Revelation 13:18. Here was wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man. The number of a man. You see? And his number is 666. Score means 20, so 3 score is 3 times 20, 666. When Lincoln said 4 years ago, he was talking about 87 years ago. 4 times 20, 80. Anyway, notice how this verse begins. Here was wisdom. Here was wisdom equals 147. Also like outer space. We're talking about an outer space mission. Big Bang has the gematria of 147. Remember, Big Bang also sums to 33, which connects back to 666. Spaceship, 147. Freemason, 147. Conspiracy, 147. And there's even more. See my work on The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, 42, 147. There's a lot more to the story. Peggy Whitson, look at her full name. Peggy Annette Whitson. In gematria, with the reduction method, that sums to 94. When you write out 94, it sums to 147. Also, when you write out 94, it sums to 57. Like her current age, when she sets this record, how old she'll be when she logs her 666 days. Scottish, right? Obsessed with 33. You see how this all neatly tucks in? So from November 7th to the end of the mission is September 3rd. 9/3, our number representing Saturn. Talked an awful lot about Saturn in 93. NASA and Saturn in 93. Derek, who built the Gematrinator website, put out a very long video, an hour long, about this topic. I just did a recent video on the Cassini space mission and its ritual ending by the numbers of Saturn. Saturn, to the occult, represents the keeper of time, having to do with death, judgment, the end. Saturn has gematria of 93. They tell us the sun, the true keeper of time, is 93 million miles away. The word propaganda has gematria of 93, and no doubt this is propaganda by the numbers. It's interesting how Saturn has to do with the keeper of time. The phrase the beginning and end also has gematria of 93. Saturn, making the judgments. Saturn, keeping track of it all. Occult, old world knowledge. The date of this article, April 24th, 17, a date with 45 numerology and 65. Those numbers have a relationship. Holy Bible has the gematria of 45. Christianity, 65. Christianity also has the Sumerian gematria of 930. Special number in the Bible, God's Son on the crucifix. I got to spell God's Son right, though. God's Son has the gematria of 93 as well as 33, just like crucifix. You know, God's one and only Son. They tell us the Son's 93 million miles away. See what I mean? Special numbers, Christianity, the religion named after Jesus, has the 93 connection in its name. Bible and Saturn also have a little parallel through the number 21. And real quick, I should show you something about 21 and NASA as well, since I just brought that up. NASA's full name, National Aeronautics and Space Administration. Let me see if I can write this out right. National Aeronautics and Space Administration. There it is. Do you see the 441 as well? That is, if you take the square root of 441, it's 21. You see? So these numbers all have a relationship. And as always, it all comes back to the Bible. All of this old world esoteric knowledge, it's encoded in the Bible. And do you want to know why that is? Here's why. NASA was established in 58. In the year 58, science equals 58. So does star. You know, think about our nearest star making life possible, the sun, 93 million miles away. Freemasonry has gematria 58. So does secret society 58. So does Rosicrucian. The Rosicrucians, Francis Bacon, King James, they, in the beginning of the 1600s, what they did was they hybridized Christianity with the old world esoteric knowledge, like the significance of numbers and numerology and gematria. It seems that the Bibles as we know it, the way they are at this point in time, were highly touched by the Rosicrucians who had a lot of influence on Freemasonry. It's all intertwined. The Rosicrucians are synced up with the Catholic Church and the Jesuits. But this is when modern English was being created, the United States was being set up, an English-speaking nation, an agenda paid for by the Catholic Church, you know, the royalty of England. All of these things are intertwined. Freemasonry goes back to Solomon's Temple, you know, in Jerusalem. Solomon's Temple, 58, just like Jerusalem. Freemasonry based in Old Testament history, you know, Jewish spirituality. They call Freemasonry Judaism for the Gentile. Notice Jerusalem's 139. So is Freemasonry. So is America. So is Jewish state. So is the hit TV show Westworld, which is about people created for someone else's purpose, which is exactly what we, the people of the United States, are. We are being used to make a machine for a one-world agenda, a Masonic Zionist world government, which is already almost realized. And that's why we're getting articles like this in the year 2017 that really put it all right in front of our face. You know, the powers that shouldn't be, they realize the sleeping masses are kept busy, occupied, distracted, and not paying attention to the news. How many people in the United States do you think will honestly read this article? You know, published in major outlets, I bet you, you know, a nation of 300 and some million, how many actually speak English? How many are old enough to read? We'll just say half the country. Out of the 150 million people that could possibly read this article, I bet you maybe 100,000 read it. Maybe 100,000. Almost nobody. And think about how many people are going to watch the video where I'm putting out exposing this. Way less. You know what I mean? The knowledge isn't getting out there. People aren't seeing what's going on. And we're late in the game. So those of you who do see this video, you got to help share this knowledge. You got to help share it with your friends and family. If they can't see what's wrong with this news story, and if you show them the gematria, you know, if you want to show them the gematria, just get right to this part. You know, just skip right to all this. The 666, the 666 days, the relationship between 33, 666, her name. If somebody looks at that and goes, come on, man, that's stupid. Well, you just learned all you needed to know about that person. Stupid people often call intelligent things, you know, they project what they are themselves. Dumb people don't appreciate intelligence. Dumb people don't appreciate intellect, you know. Sadly, we're living in a world where the Zionists have created the masses who are brain dead, chemically poisoned, you know, zoned out. So those of us who are awake, we've got to change the tide, man. You know, people who have chosen to be dumb, who have been chemically dumbed down, they can come out of their stupor. And that's what we got to do. We got to be the spark to change the course. All right, until next time, True Seekers.